Have a nice day, children. Today our lesson is History, Unit 5, Educational Development in India. Education is a continuous process of acquiring and sharing of knowledge, skills and values. Education is recognized as the foundation of a progressive society. It plays a vital role in shaping responsible people. The world we live is constantly changing and developing. So, to meet the challenges and overcome the obstacles, we need to be well educated and to know the role of the education in the human development process. Let us learn the development of education in India through the ages. Education in ancient India. The historical sources provide the information that from very early times the tradition of teaching and learning had been trained in India. The concept of education might have originated from the Vedas. The Sanskrit word Veda is knowledge and the word derived from the word vid, which means to know. Our ancient education system evolved over many centuries, focused on the development of the individual by taking care of both the natural and hidden capacities. It focused on values such as humility, truthfulness, discipline, self reliance, and respect for all creations. Sources of learning. We must have here the names of Panini, Aryabhatta, Katyayana, and Patanjali. Their writings and the medical treatises of Charaka and Susruta were also some of the sources of learning. Various disciplines such as history, logic, architecture, trade, agriculture, animal husbandry, archery were taught. Now we will see about the ancient education system in India. Place of education. Temples played a vital role in imparting education and served the centers of learning. Students went to viharas and universities for higher studies. Teaching was oral and students remembered and meditated upon what was taught in the Gurukulas. Situated in forests, in serene and peaceful surroundings, hundreds of students used to learn together in Gurukulas. The peoples who gathered around him and came to live in his house as members of his family. This was known as Gurukula system of education. Aim: to have complete learning, leading a disciplined life and realizing one's inner potential. Now we will see about Taxila. Taxila was an ancient Indian city which is now in northwestern Pakistan. It is an important archaeological site and the UNESCO declared it is a World Heritage Site in 1980. Its fame rested on the university where Chanakya is said to have composed his Ardhasastra. Archaeologist Alexander Cunningham discovered its ruin in the mid 19th century. Next, Nalanda. The ancient Nalanda University was a center of learning from the 5th century AD to 12th century AD. Located in present-day Rajgir, Bihar, Nalanda was one of the oldest universities of the world and UNESCO declared it as a World Heritage Site. Viharas and universities of the Buddhist period. That kings and society took an active interest in promoting education through monasteries and viharas. Buddhist scholars carried out the educational work. As a result, many famous educational centers came into existence. Among the most notable universities that emerged during that period were situated at Taxila, Nalanda, Vallabhi, Vikramashila, Odandaburi and Jagadala. Teachers had complete freedom in all aspects from selection of students to designing their syllabus. When the teacher was satisfied, the course concluded. Teacher would admit us many students as he liked and taught what his students were interested to learn. Next one is education in medieval India. Medieval period witnessed with the introduction of Muslim education. The tradesmen and the invaders brought with them their own culture and intermingled with the people of the country. Education developed in the fields of knowledge like theology, religion, philosophy, fine arts, painting, architecture, mathematics, medicine, and astronomy. The aim of education during Muslim period was the illumination and extension of knowledge. In the 11th century, the Muslim rulers established elementary and secondary schools. Muslim rulers founded primary schools, that is maktabs, in which students learnt reading, writing and basic Islamic prayers. Secondary schools, madrasas, were established to teach advanced language skills. Several madrasas were set up by the sultans, where Iltutmish was the first ruler to establish madrasas at Delhi during his rule. Raja Jai Singh of Jaipur encouraged learning of scientific subjects. The medieval period saw the founding of many religious mud or monasteries. Jain Palace and Jain Pallis and Buddhist vihars played a vital role in educating people. Next one we will see about modern system of education. The beginning of the modern system of Indian education can be traced to the efforts of the Christian missionaries. Let's see about role of Christian missionaries. Europeans came to India for trade and established trading companies. They wanted to spread their culture and religion among Indians. So they started educational institutions. The Portuguese were the first Europeans who started modern system of education in India. Francis Xavier started a university at Cochin. They started many primary schools. The first college offering degrees on a completion of a course was started in Goa in 1575, where Christianity, logic, grammar and music were taught. Followed by the Portuguese, the French opened their institutions for all the Indians, where education was imparted by Indian teachers through local languages. They started higher secondary schools where French language was taught. Two German bishops named Ziegenbalg and Pulzcham started schools and a training college for teachers in Travancore. After the arrival of English East India Company in 1600 AD, institutions were established for imparting instruction in English. Also, Sanskrit colleges were opened in Madras and Benares. Missionaries made a good deal of attempt for the propagation of education in India. Due to their efforts, many institutions were established. These institutions imparted Western education as well as Indian education. Education in the British rule. History of education in British rule can be divided into 4 periods. From the early days of the British rule up to 1813, period from 1813 to 1853, third one period from 1854 to 1920, and finally period from 1921 to 1947. Let's see in detail about from the early days of the British rule up to 1813. During its early days, the East India Company followed a policy of indifference and non-interference towards education. Besides missionaries, non-missionaries like Rajaram Mohan Roy of Bengal, Pachiyapar of Madras, W. Fraser of Delhi contributed to the cause of education. In 1813, the East India Company was compelled to accept the responsibility for the education of the Indians. Charter of Act of 1813 made a provision for an annual grant of a sum of 1 lakh rupees for the promotion of education in India. Period from 1813 to 1853. The second period was also marked by great educational controversies like Orientalists who supported the preservation of Oriental learning and the use of Sanskrit and Persian as the media of instruction. A third section believed in the use of Indian languages as the media of instruction. These controversies were partially set at rest by Macaulay's Minutes of 1835. Higher education was de-orientalized, encouraging English education for the upper classes. Each province was allowed to follow its own education policy, but even then, the controversies continued till 1854. The third phase. The third phase of British influenced education may be called the period of an all India educational policy. It commenced with Sir Charles Wood's dispatch in 1854. It is called the Magna Carta of English education in India. The fourth phase may be called the period of provincial autonomy. The Act of 1935 started a new era of educational advancement through the country. After the Second World War, very important plan for educational development known as the Sergeant Report 1944 was prepared. This blueprint had a powerful influence on the contemporary education, that is present day education, both in thought as well as in practice. Wardha Scheme of Education 1937. In 1937, Gandhiji evolved a scheme popularly known as the Wardha Scheme of Basic National Education. The principle of non-violence was the basis of Gandhiji's scheme of basic education. Through this scheme, he wanted to develop and create a non-violent society. Educational development of independent India. In 1948, Dr. Radhakrishnan Commission was appointed to present a report on university education. One of the most important events that have taken place in the field of secondary education was the appointment of Secondary Education Commission in 1952 to 53. It suggested new organizational patterns, improvement in quality of textbooks, curriculum and methods of teachings. An education commission under the chairmanship of Dr. D.S. Kothari was appointed by the government of India in 1964. Free and compulsory primary education for all children up to the age of 14 years and uniform educational structure of 10 plus 2 plus 3 pattern were its main recommendations. National Policy on Education. Okay, the first National Education Policy of 1968 marked a significant step in the history of education in post-independent India. In 1986, the Government of India introduced a new education policy. The aim of new education policy was to transfer a static society into a vibrant one with a commitment to development and change. The new education policy called for a child-centered approach in primary education. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan SSA and Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan RMSA. The Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan SSA is the Government of India's flagship program that was launched in 2000 and 2001 to achieve universal elementary education. SSA is now the primary vehicle for implementing two provisions of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, that is RTE. Right to education, that is RTE, provides for free and compulsory education to all the children from the age of 6 to 14 years. RMSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. RMSA is a centrally sponsored scheme for universalization of access and improvement of quality education at the secondary stage. The goal of RMSA is to make secondary education qualitative, available, accessible and affordable to all young students in the age group 15 to 16 years. Science lab, libraries, in-service training for teachers, computer-aided education, co-curricular activities and teaching learning aids are provided by the Government of India through RMSA scheme at the school level. Educational development in Tamil Nadu. The pattern of education in Tamil Nadu was not about reading and understanding of books but listening to learned persons. The Tirukkural stresses the need for education and warns the dangers of illiteracy. In ancient times, the school was called Palli and the teacher was a Kanakayar. A significant development took place in the field of education during the Pallava period. Gatika was an educational institution. The Pallava kings supported those educational institutions through endowments. The Vaishnava and Shaiva mutts provided boarding and lodging facilities to all students and teachers. The Chola period was the most brilliant and creative period in Tamil literature. Tamil education enjoyed a greater connection with religion and temple. Free education was given to people and the land given to the schools. Rajaraja Chaturvedi Mangalam was the famous seat of a Vedic college. That is in Ennairam in former South Arcot district. At Tirubhuvanai, that is in Pondicherry, Vedic college flourished. Tiruvadurai, inscription of Veerarajendra refers to a medical school. The Pandya kings patronized Sanskrit in an exemplary way. Education in modern period. Fernandez, who came to Madurai during the time of Veerappa Nayak, established a primary school. The Maratha ruler Sarfoji II collected the old records and kept them in the Saraswati Mahal Library, Tanjore. He also had a printing press with Devanagari type located there. Sir Thomas Munro, the governor of Madras Presidency, was highly responsible for the introduction of Western education in Madras Presidency. Wood's Dispatch of 1854 introduced the Department of Public Instruction in Madras Presidency. Grant in aid was given to all schools. The Madras University was founded in 1857. It was the first university in Tamil Nadu under the British rule. By 1938, all subjects except English were taught in Tamil in schools. The Annamalai University was founded at Chidambaram in 1929. This was the next step in the development of higher education. The last one is education since independence. Free education at the secondary school level was introduced in 1964 to 65. The Gandhigram Rural College was established in 1975. Distance education has also been introduced in Tamil Nadu to educate those who could not go to colleges. In 1956, a midday meal program was introduced in schools. Later, it was extended as nutrition meal schemes in 1982 to avoid dropouts in schools. Since 1986, several changes have taken place to meet the changing dynamics of the society in keeping with the national policy of education. I hope you are all understood the lesson. Let's see the book back question and answer. Pause the video to note down the question answer. Thank you, ma. Take care of yourself. Go through the lessons and learn book back question and answer. Bye bye.